All right, guys, so this is going to be the existing HVAC system that we're looking at. This is going to be the existing furnace. It's 21.5 inches wide, and we're 59 top to bottom on this guy. It's a wonderful old Lennox Pulse, 60,000 BTU furnace with a 3-ton blower and a 10 by 20 cold air return drop. Issue that we're going to be running into is you have a water heater right behind this guy. Probably the best method is probably going to be just taking out this cold air return drop, because this is not wide enough. You don't have space to pull this back right and turn it. It's kind of pretty jumbled all together. But I think it'll be best if we probably just cut the ductwork from right here, which is already kind of cut and open on this axis right here for this cold air return drop. Just cut that. Should be able to take this guy right out, right, move it all back. You do have 32 inches of clearance right here, so you guys should have plenty of space, but this cold air return from here all the way down to the axis will need to come out. We've also talked about having this stuff moved out, so you guys will have plenty of access coming in and out of this door. There isn't a ton of light, so if you guys got headlights, this would be great. But that's going to be taking out the furnace. It is natural gas. We will have to rebuild the cold air return drop, and if you guys would like, I'd possibly even take it out from the top, because we're thinking about moving this over just slightly to the right. We do want to drop in a nice filter rack on this side for them, but that's accessible on the back. Probably a nice 16 by 25 by 1 filter rack and access right here, so they can just slide it out from right here, right? And this is probably the thing that we might not want to move this too much, because this is probably the cut point. I don't want them to have to hit their water heater block that this guy's sitting on when they change it out. I want it to be a really smooth transition for them, and a lot easier than what they're having to do now, because Eric brought up it's a real big pain to change out that filter, and it kind of just gets caught, and it's kind of annoying. So that's going to be that. We also have, I believe, just an insulation transition that's covered in duct tape. It worked, but we want to do it right and correct all of this. So we'll go ahead and rip all that stuff off, right? I don't think we're going to need to build too big of a transition, because this is going to be 17.5 inches wide. I believe the top plenum is 16 inches wide, so it should just be able to fit pretty snug. You might need to do just a slight taper off right here to just connect it, but that's it. We have 2-inch PVC. This is going to be the intake. They got a lot of bumblebees that come through there, and it's not covered on the outside of the house. If we could put in an attachment on the elbow, so it's just has that little cover over it, so not a lot of bugs or critters can get down there for them, that would help them out. And then this guy had a leak right here on this 2-inch elbow that we do want to cut and redo. Everything else looks really good, but I'd probably cut from here and just redo this section down. And then the gas shut off is really old too. We'll most likely need to cut that and then redo it and update it for modern, for it to be more up to code overall. That's going to be roughly everything that we're looking at, guys. And I guess this is the other thing I forgot to mention, is this, I don't know why I'm calling it a condenser pump. It's a condensate pump. Yeah, not a condenser pump, a condensate pump, right? We do need to go ahead and change all that out and just run new fittings and attachments to it, so everything's updated. It is hooked up right here to the furnace, which may or may not need to change, but that's the other thing I'd bring up. It's probably hooked up to the furnace. But yeah, it's a really old system, and we need to get it changed out. There has been talk of adding air conditioning. You have 69 inches right here at the height of this guy before it does its first run off of the front and the back, but we should be able to put a coil right in here and run that, and you guys should have plenty of space. I don't think we're going to need a base can for this guy at all, so the furnace can be right on the ground. That should give us tons of space. Coil should fit almost right up top, and that should actually take up a lot of the extra space to make it fit a lot better. And we'll probably run that line set probably out right there, or possibly out right there. Access is going to be a little bit of a pain for that, just because there is quite a bit of stuff back here, but you guys should be able to get a little bit more back access right here, and you can see where those pipes are running. We'll just need to clear a path if they end up doing the AC route for you guys. But yeah, and we'll need to take down some of that drywall. It looks like it's just nailed in, which is probably gonna destroy some drywall, but that's okay. I'll go over that with Eric and make sure they're okay. If they choose to do that, we'll tackle it when we get there. The thermostat's upstairs. If you guys come into the front of the house and you go straight across to where all the bedrooms and the bathrooms at, it's right on the other side of that wall. It is I believe it's just an old looking mechanical setup. We'll probably do a digital one for them to make it more updated too. But all in all, that's everything that we're looking at here. So quite a big job overall in setup. Other thing I don't think I mentioned, but I would like you guys to look at in depth, just make sure these are sealed up properly. There's some leakage that coming in through the cold air return side. Same with the supply side. I just want to make sure that that's sealed up properly and they're not losing any efficiency or just heating ambient spaces in their house. So that's going to be everything.